Taiwan from the early 1990s to the early 2000s will forget Gao Peihua or Corbett Wall. Back then, he was known as the island's Prince of the Saxophone. Today, Wall heads up a nonprofit based in Alishan, where he not only works with the indigenous Zhou people, he also mentors young people looking to express themselves through culture and art. One of his protégés, Danivu, recently found success at an international festival in Germany. He shares that story in this week's edition of Taiwan Talk.
I took a group of indigenous people from Alishan to support a young tribal girl named Danivu. As part of our NGO, I've been supporting her and developing her, and she has a remarkable talent. And I encouraged her to try exploring different types of media. And so I had her do the drawings for a 360 film, which was an indigenous tale called The Little Warrior. And this is a tale that had been passed down generations to generations orally. The story is about a little boy who goes out with his father fishing, and a big hand comes out of the sky. And he's curious, so he reaches for the hand, and the hand pulls him up into the heavens. And the hand is Hamo. Hamo is the supreme being for the Zhou people. He's their supreme god. And he pulls him up in the heavens to teach this little boy the ways of the warrior. And the boy disappears for a long time. And he comes back about 18 years later. And the numbers change depending on who tells the story. But he came back as a man, and he brought back to Earth how to use fire, how to hunt, how to fish. All the traditions of Zhou he brought back. So in many ways, he was abducted by aliens. So I worked with Danivu to weave this story, and we drew it. I shouldn't say we drew it. I heavily encouraged her to use her style to draw it. And I found a German animator and an Austrian musician, and we created this full dome piece.
How wonderful. How long is it?
It's these types of things are short. So
That's
usually
right.
5 or 6. It's about 6.5 minutes. You can't really sit and watch these. There's too much information. You get dizzy. It's like VR.
Right.
And it's more VR than VR, put it that way. And so we were invited by this Full Dome Festival to premiere this film. They saw just a few minutes of it or a few seconds of it, and they said, "This is really cool. Can you premiere it at our festival?" And so I thought that was a fantastic way to take Zhou culture to an international audience. And so we said, well, we can't just take the film. We should probably take as many traditional singers as we can take. So we took 7, actually 8. We took 8. So we did a performance there, and it was fantastically well received. If you can imagine, with all this technology in Germany, and you got the indigenous people singing with this beautiful legend going on in the background, and we won the grand prize.
That's awesome.
So,
That is awesome.
So we won this award. It's like the Oscar. They gave us a nice statuette. It's called the Janus Award for Best Full Dome Film. And they were blown away. Everyone's blown away. So
Okay, let's roll that back a little bit. Tell me how you got involved.
I've been very fortunate in my career. Unbelievably lucky. When you look back in hindsight, I came to Taiwan. I had a wonderful career here. I was able to make a career out of something I loved doing, which is very hard. If someone loves gardening, it's very hard to make a career out of that. I just happened to love making music, and I was able to make a career out of that. And that good luck and good fortune took me all over the world. So it allowed me to travel, allowed me to meet interesting people. I was allowed, or given the opportunity to have a fantastic career in the States and in China and all over Asia. And so a while back, my wife and I, we began getting involved in, I guess you can call them meaningful pet projects. Our first one was in New York. We started a intercultural orchestra, a kids orchestra in Flushing, New York. And we got involved in this, and it was called the 7 Train Orchestra, because the area that we were was right next to Flushing, and Flushing, the 7 Train is the subway there. And along this train, there's like 120 different nationalities. And so we started this orchestra so that Greek kids could get along with Chinese kids, could get along with Colombian kids, could get to meet Indian kids, could work with Korean kids. And this was sort of a platform for that. And that kind of got us involved in working in the arts. So that was kind of our first project, but this sort of, I guess, momentum led us to other things. We did a performing arts workshop here in Taipei years later when I moved back. We started a place called The Living Room. I think some expats that have been here for a while will remember that. And that was kind of a platform for people to explore themselves and play original music, and there was theater and comedy shows and things. So we've always been involved in this type of thing. My work took me to China, as many people, back and forth, China to the U.S. And, we got involved in a school in Yunnan, an orphanage in Tibet, all just things that happened. We said, well, we can get involved. Let's see what we can do. And so this kind of momentum led us all over the world to different places, meeting different people. But Irene and I were thinking, well, now that we're coming sort of to the twilight of our career, that's a nice way of saying it, right?
That's a lovely way of putting it.
Now that we're getting old,
I did not say that.
But that's what it means. And
Right.
What should we do? I mean, that's a question that every family asks themselves, especially if you're an expat. And I guess I'm still an expat, even though I've kind of have roots in Taiwan. But, I really like traveling. I like working and helping people as I can, sharing my experience. I love doing stuff in art and technology, which is kind of what I've been doing my whole life. So let's do that. And so we had a handshake, and we said, we're going to start doing things in that direction.
After some consideration, the musician decided to settle in a hamlet in Alishan.
Well, we met the principal. We met some local artists. We started to understand, and we felt that what a wonderful place, And we realized that there were some things that maybe we could do here, and that's how that started. And that was 5 years ago.
The decision to stay in Taiwan appears to be an easy one for Wall to make.
It's kind of like fate brought me to Taiwan. Fate brought me back to Taiwan, and I still do other stuff. I'm still,
Do other stuff.
it's not like I just, moved to the mountains and I'm a hermit. No, I still work. I have various things that I work on, and I work for and with other people. But your priorities change a bit, and things that maybe were once quite important aren't so important.
Yeah.
Mountain time has kind of taught me that. Irene and I, we put a 5-year plan down. And we're at the end of the 5 years now, and we've achieved this thing, and we've found young talent, we've developed it. But all those kind of seeds that we've planted and developed are starting to grow.
You need to mentor that now. That's
yeah,
different,
and so now the next thing that I have to do is I have to go and ask other people to help us, So I'm talking to foundations, I'm figuring out what the relationship should be with the government. I've got a great relationship with the local villages there, and so what do they really need? How can I support? Within my ability, and you become very, very realistic about what you can do and how you can help and how you can get involved and such. But that's the beauty of where I'm at now. And like right now, one of the key things we realize is what we need is people. And so we have volunteers coming up. So I'm always putting the word out. If anybody wants to volunteer, whether it's a day or a week or a month, come up and we'll put you to work.
You were listening to Corbett Wall. And that does it for this week's edition of Taiwan Talk. I'm Hope Go. Thank you for tuning in.